What's up, comic book fans? This is Pete, and we are Comic Books Transformed, where we talk about the adaptations from your favorite comic books into streaming shows and movies. Brian and I are at the end of our marathon, the last lap. We've been recording all day today, talking about Doom Patrol, Loki, and Gen V. And now we finally got to the thing that I enjoyed the most, Invincible. Invincible's back. Brian, is Invincible the thing that you enjoyed the most this week?
Honestly, it's a close race, but honestly, I would say I would put Loki as the thing I enjoyed the most this week.
Nice.
But everything was fantastic. This was probably possibly the best week we've had overall,
yes,
considering we had four shows to watch.
Yes, very, very good point. Very good point. Just in the interest of time, I'm just going to cut the bullshit. This is spoiler central. What made this episode so good for me, and what made it put it ahead of the other ones, is that sequence where they play Karma Police from Radiohead, and it's a montage of Mark just rescuing people. So fucking good.
Yeah, he's kind of like rescuing people secretly on the side. It hasn't been much time hasn't passed since his battle with his dad. It's clearly weighing heavy on him. He's kind of like in an autopilot mode. He's not interacting with people. He's just doing it and then just disappearing. Fantastic intro, fantastic musical choice there. And yeah, that was a great way to open the season.
Yeah. You've heard me say this 50 times, so I'll spare you. But basically, I always say that when you can sync up music with the imagery in a movie, you can really make something magical. And the example I always use is the Transformers, the movie. I think they sync up music perfectly. This sequence, the music just like fits so fucking perfectly with what was happening. And what I loved in particular wasn't necessarily like when he was saving people, but like he just kind of would like fly around and just kind of do like loops. And it was just this visual representation, because I don't think there's any fucking dialogue said in that whole sequence. And it's just it's this visual representation of what you just said, where he's kind of like lost, he's in his head, and it like shows with his flying. I just thought that was so well done.
Yep.
And there was one other sequence in that I just want to point out that I think was so great too. There's a part where there's a guy that's getting put into an ambulance, and they're about to leave, and then Mark picks him up, and you just see the sky going by fast, and both paramedics kind of stop for a second. But I really loved is that one of the paramedics just goes and just starts doing the compressions. I love little details like that.
Yeah, the one guy's looking around like, what's going on? And the one's like, just stop, pause for a second, but continues on. And, it's just, that kind of like stealth saving, but autopilot sort of thing was just beautiful.
Yeah. So, let's talk about what else. But I mean, that alone kind of put it above everything else for me this week. The beginning, that's the second scene in the episode. The first scene is this alternate timeline.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. So you want to talk about that?
It opens with an alternate timeline. So I mean, I needed a refresher on this show because it's been a really long time since season 1 ended, and season 1 ended so incredibly. Which one of the most like memorable, impactful dialogue exchanges I've ever seen in almost any show, let alone just superhero shows, and that's with Omni-Man and fighting Invincible, and just the question he asked, like, what will you have after 500 years? And he says, you, Dad, you. Even saying it again just destroys me.
Right.
But yeah, so you're left with that, and we know that Omni-Man flies off, and Mark is still around, and he did not join his father. But this reality shows what would have been like if Mark did just join his father, and it's creepy because you just have Invincibles have a message on a loop in this one city where just this one screen is working, everything else is just destroyed. And they do some pretty brutal killing of people here. And there's like a resistance trying to fight them, which includes an older grizzled Adam Eve, and
Robot,
Mr. Immortal. Oh no, just Immortal. Sorry, I'm mixing up Doom Patrol now. And then ultimately this other character, which Angstrom
Levy.
Yes. Who is that? Wayne Brady?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Because it sounds like I know this voice, and it sounds like it, but he's kind of like the point of view that we're seeing this from, and then
Hmm.
he escapes, or this version of him is able to escape from the destruction that Omni-Man and Invincible are causing there, who've now found this resistance base, underground resistance base.
Yeah. And it's a really upsetting sequence. There's many versions of this nowadays because multiverse is everything. But honestly, Invincible did this kind of stuff before it became really big. I mean, the multiverse has always been a thing in comics, going back to like Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Of course.
But the idea of like fighting variants of yourself and stuff, that Invincible really kind of played this up during the comic book run. Um, Usually on a show, especially because you'll have like Superman or like the Justice League or somebody will be evil, you'll have a sequence where they show a character that's beloved doing something evil, and it's like very quick. It's like a minute long sequence. But in this sequence went on for a while, and
Yeah.
it was upsetting.
Yeah.
And they're just like so dark, and it reminded me of The Boys, which we also cover, because they're just like, oh, we have to kill you guys, like, because you're part of the resistance, we have to kill all of you, and I'm real hungry, can we get through this quickly? Like, it's just so cold and disturbing.
Yeah, it's very dehumanizing. It's just like they literally are, as Omni-Man called his wife, a pets to them,
Yeah.
And
So
I was wrong. It's not Wayne Brady. It's Sterling K. Brown as Action Levy. So
okay, I like Sterling K. Brown too. Yeah. So, and then just one last thing, really fucking disturbing, but like it seems like Mark breaks uh Adam Eve's neck, but then it's that, like, she's not dead, she's paralyzed, right?
Yeah, and he said he was practicing it on protesters the week before.
Yep.
Oh
So
my
fucked up.
god, it's so casually delivered, this bleak darkness.
Yes. So I think this is kind of broad stroke stuff, but the reason why I love Invincible so much, and the thumbnail for this will be like, is this the best comic book adaptation? Is because it's as violent and disturbing as The Boys, but it is not as cynical as The Boys. It's upsetting and disturbing, but there is still this hope. And they were really smart to have this sequence of Mark being a bastard with his father, then cut to Mark being lost in his head with this Radiohead sequence, because it shows that, like, he's special. He's special because of who he is. He isn't going to turn to the dark side, and it shows you what he would be like if he did. I think it's a great juxtaposition, those two scenes next to each other.
Yeah, and later in the episode, we find out that in most other realities, Mark does join his dad.
Yeah,
so this is a rare one.
Right. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and so the episode is really Angstrom Levy's origin, where he and the Mauler twins are basically trying to conduct this experiment where they're going to take the knowledge of all of his variant selves and put them into his body, and he recruits them, and it's just great because, like, the little interactions, like them and their cells talking to each other, talking to the guard that they kind of tricked last time. It's little things that, just as a fan of the show, you appreciate, but it makes it feel like it's a lived-in real place.
Yeah. You jog my memory about a detail that I really loved about this episode. This was actually the first thing I watched this week, so this is a little fuzzier for me than the other stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
This episode, this show is famous for, of showing the title card in place of someone saying Invincible.
Right.
And they didn't do that until the very end, which I kind of love, because when they started up and then Mark says Invincible at some point, but he actually says it. I was like, what? Like, wait, I took a minute to even remember why this felt weird.
Yeah.
And it hit me at the end when Angstrom was like, I will kill, and then the title card.
Yes. I mean, it's such a great detail. And one of the best things was that it always had like a little bit of blood on it, right?
Yeah.
As it kept getting, and then it got super bloody. Now it's like black, right?
Yeah.
With red letters. Yeah, it's fucked up. So, obviously, like, Invincible goes to shut down the experiment at the end, and that's what leads to Angstrom Levy having this fucking ridiculous brain. It's kind of different from the comics because he kind of has this like broccoli brain head, which you'd see from like a 1950s kind of super villain. In the cartoon, it almost looks like a cobra because it's kind of like going down the back of his neck.
Yes.
I just want to see like what other details we should hit upon while we're talking about this. Oh, okay. So there's this great sequence with his mother eating like having some wine with I guess like the woman who was like married to like the Flash of this universe.
Yes. Yeah. Olga. Yeah.
Yeah. And the mom has this remorse and she feels guilty because her husband essentially killed this woman's husband, but Olga is like very understanding of her.
Yeah. No, they're very supportive of each other. I mean, there can't be many people that have gone through things like this, so they have kind of an understanding that yeah, it's really fucked up that happened and all, but it wasn't each other's faults.
Yeah. And I mean, like, this episode really is just like the fallout from the season finale. It shows how it affects Mark and how it affects his mom. And, there's all these supporting characters, like you said, where they've kind of been in this world already. So they kind of know, like, we see Mark talk to Eve for a little bit. She's trying to make him feel better. We see Mark talk to Cecil and like he's trying to get Cecil to trust him. For some reason, I thought that Cecil was, what's the guy that's from like fucking Parks and Rec? That Nick Offerman, right?
Oh yeah, I can kind of hear the notes. It's Walton Goggins, but I can sort of hear that why you might think it's Nick Offerman.
Right, and like he doesn't sound like Walter Goggins at all when he talks. I guess like Walter Goggins.
So
he usually kind of plays like some kind of Southern guy and like this sort of like flamboyant kind of guy.
True, very true. But I mean, I can hear it in there. But you're right. He usually does speak with an accent, and this character does not have that accent.
Very straightforward, yeah. But I just like they did this whole sequence of like the Guardians of the Globe, and then like they show Cecil interacting with them, and then you just forget what a big voice cast this is.
Yeah, I actually have it up here. It's this, Stephen Yeun, Sandra Oh, J.K. Simmons, Zazie Beetz, Sterling K. Brown, Walton Goggins, Gillian Jacobs, Jason Mantzoukas. One of the, then there's a lot, Zachary Quinto, and then there's a lot of like really established voice actors. Fred Tatasciore, Kevin Michael Richardson, Carrie Payton, from Young Justice, Greg Griffin, who's a storied voice actress, and there's probably someone I'm forgetting that's really big too. And then some new characters this season are we have Jay Farrow joining the cast, and I guess Sterling K. Brown is new as well.
Yeah, Jay Farrow, he does really good impersonations. I wasn't who's the guy from Fringe and he was in John Wick? And he's in Destiny. He's
oh my God, why am I not remembering his name? He just passed away, and I'm just devastated by it.
Yeah, but like Jay Farrow might be like impersonating him because I think he had a character on this show too.
No, but he's playing Bulletproof, it was new.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's the new character that joins that, and yeah.
So I mean, like, I'm really
Lance
glad.
Reddick. I'm sorry, I had this.
Lance Reddick. Yeah. So I mean, like, with the show, they just have such a talented cast, and a lot of times it's just like they do like little one-line things, and that's it for the whole episode. You have this like person's a big actor. And it's such a big cast with like so many different plot threads, but it mirrors the comic so well. And after Nolan leaves, you do have this whole arc with Angstrom Levy where he's kind of trying to take down Mark, and it's something that kind of builds up behind the scenes while Mark is having these little adventures. I feel like that's what season 2 is going to be about.
It's I mean, I have not read that far into the comic. We discussed this when we reviewed Adam Eve, and that's where Lance Reddick did a voice. He was the military character in that, I believe. So yeah, I own a bunch on Comixology, but I definitely need to catch up on it more.
Oh my God, I totally forgot that. So like, yeah, how far did you get in the comic? Do you remember?
I don't remember because I was reading it when after the show or during the show, the first season of the show, or after it or something. I don't remember. And how could I forget this too? And we were talking about voice actors. Peter Cullen joins the cast at some point.
That's right. Yeah, we haven't seen his character yet, but I know he's coming too. Yeah. Oh man, there's so much good stuff coming up. This show is so freaking good. I love it. And I want to just point out that Stephen Yun, I love Stephen Yun. You know,
Yeah.
like I know everyone likes him as Glenn from The Walking Dead, but I think what really got me sold on him was Keith in
Even
Voltron.
Voltron and this, yeah.
Right, right. And he was also in this show called Beef, which was also on Netflix, which I really like that show too. And he's
Yep.
great in that. And he's great in Nope, the movie Nope.
I haven't seen no. One thing I saw him in that I liked him in, more of a supporting role, but it was it sorry to bother you?
Oh, he's in that too. I saw that. I can't remember what he is in that.
Yeah,
He's
it
like a
was
friend
a
or
really
something, right?
weird trippy movie, but it was really good.
Yes, agreed, yeah. But Sorry to Bother You, Invincible, Nope, all these things that we're mentioning that he's in, and Beef, these are all things where they just kind of feel fresh and different and hip. And that feels very different from like the Marvel stuff and the Star Wars stuff. It's just stuff that's like you could tell there's a vision behind it. And this show, I just love this show so much, man.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so anyway, was there anything else you wanted to say about this first episode of Invincible?
No, I think we covered. I mean, very quickly covered all of it, and we'll have more to say next week.
Yes, sir. So Brian and I covered Doom Patrol, we covered Gen V, we covered Invincible, and we covered Loki. So make sure you guys check out each of those videos when they're up. But we will be back next week to talk about Invincible Season 2, Episode 2. And make sure you guys subscribe so you can join us for that. We'll see y'all